walking like this. What do you think would happen to me?
I don't think your finger would be in really good condition, and hopefully you're still with us.
So this is Frank, a home inspector. I've been working with him for years now. Amazing guy, straight up, honest. That's why I use him. I want to talk about roofs. A lot of people, from my experience as a real estate agent, buyers quickly just want to barge right in through the house, go look at the beautiful staging, get sold by the staging, walk out and talk about, I want to submit an offer. You've taught me, let's take a step back, observe the roof. What are some things that I should be looking out for?
Some good things to do would be, if you have a street, step back out a little bit further.
Which,
canals
not
here.
very practical here.
And we're gonna kind of just look up at the roof. You can see the tiles, so that's what we're gonna look at. And we're gonna say, hey, look, we've got no broken tiles that we can see, but we do have some vegetation there. So we can't actually see everything, but you know, hey, there's vegetation around it. You're gonna have to do a little bit of maintenance.
And on something like this, sometimes we don't have to be experts, at least initially. Sometimes it's obvious, right? Like here,
Exactly.
broken tiles.
Exactly, you'll see them broken, separated, something like that.
So this is a clay tile roof. And for example, that's a shingle roof, right? Composition?
That's composition roof or an asphalt shingle.
We have
Spots.
someone coming through. We're gonna be nice and polite. We don't want to be those YouTubers that troll people. We're respectful.
Respectful and
Yes.
courteous. So on the shingle roofs, we want to make sure that it has a pitch. We don't want anything with a low pitch, really. And we're going to look for shiny areas. And that's just an indication that it might be getting a little bit older.
So when we see the shiny area, that's usually that it's kind of already, it's worn down to the point where it's exposing the
fiberglass underneath.
Underneath,
yeah.
okay.
So the little asphalt on top is just beginning to fall off. So when you start seeing those fiberglass hairs, you know that roof is coming down towards the end of its life.
clay in composition roof. That's been around for ages. The idea of like using clay tiles as roof. Because it's old, is it a bad piece of technology, or how does that compare to that?
So on a clay tile roof, they'll tell you that the life expectancy 50, 75 years, but 9 times out of 10, we still see these 1900, 1920 homes here in Los Angeles that are still in great condition, where you may get a roof like this one over here, and that was put on in 2010, and it's just completely beat up, and it's only 15 years old. So even the new technology, it doesn't personally last as long as something that we've been using for hundreds of years.
Interesting. So here's another thing that you've taught me that I now constantly just look out for. I'll try to find an exposed hose bib just to get an idea of the type of plumbing material that's used in the house.
So on the outside of the home, we're going to be looking at that, and you're looking either for galvanized or copper. If you see galvanized, that's an older material. It's an inferior product. We typically want to see copper on the outside of the home. It has a longer life expectancy, and it's a better product.
This one might not guarantee that it's copper throughout, but it's a sample. It's better than nothing. What's the problem with galvanized? If it was, that's what they used back in like 1920, right, for plumbing?
Yeah, so they were using that in the 1920s, pretty much like 1960s and earlier. But galvanized plumbing, the diameter of the pipe starts to restrict from the actual inside. You want to avoid galvanized plumbing, you want copper, CPVC or PEX. Yeah, a lot of new construction will use copper as your main line and then PEX inside the house. Because it's just
watch out for this plant. Just got smacked in the face.
It's just easier to work with.
So we help Tyler out, or he's got to fend for himself?
Nah, we'll help him.
All right. I'm gonna take this moment to talk foundation and cracks. When is a crack normal and when is it an issue?
A small crack, typically something that you can't like fit a credit card in, typically not an issue. We're looking for something that has some shifting or some separation to where it could be a problem. If we see that, then that's when we're going to warrant either a structural engineer or a foundation company come out and take a look at it for you. Now, we have 2 different types of foundations predominantly. You have a raised foundation, you have a slab foundation.
Okay.
Here, we're looking at a slab foundation.
Which means it's just level with the ground, right? Like I can just walk in here and there's not much of a...
9 times out of 10, yes, sir. It's just level with the ground. It may have a small step up, a couple inches, but the concrete goes down into the ground. So that would be a slab foundation.
And by the way, my name is Daniel Rangel, real estate agent on the west side of Los Angeles. If I can be of any help, it would be an honor. And for a free consultation on buying or selling, you can find my information in the description below. And don't forget to hit like or subscribe. And also to reach out to Frank, you can also find his information in the description below. But
Is a raised foundation necessarily better than a slab foundation, or are they just different?
I think they're just different. I don't have a preference for one over the other.
Pros and cons to each?
Pros for raised foundations, it's easier to do plumbing work. You could get underneath the house, you could change a drain line, you could change a fresh water line, you can move a toilet or move a bathroom with a lot more ease. Where on a slab, you're cutting into the foundation to move stuff, so it's a little bit more labor intensive to move stuff on a slab foundation than it is a raised foundation.
So for example, here, if there was a bad plumbing line, I almost have to cut through this tile. Whereas if it was raised, I can just go underneath and repair
Correct.
it from
You
underneath.
repair from underneath, you could just replace that one little section. Plumber would probably be done in less than a day.
So Frank, did you just like wake up one day and we're like, when I grow up, I want to be a home inspector?
Yeah, no, not really how it happened. What had happened was my uncle owns a home inspection company here in California, and he offered me a job, and he's like, hey, are you interested? And I was like, yes, I will be right there, and moved to California. And 25 years later, here we are filming in Venice Beach, or the canals.
Again, we're buying this property, we're doing our walkthrough. We have this beautiful sunroom, living room. What are some things that I would look out for here?
So we're going to look at the ceiling, see if you have any water stains. We're going to look for water stains that are a light color or a dark color. Dark color is telling us that that water stain is older. Light color is telling us that that water stain is newer. If the listing says, hey, it's got a new roof, and you see dark stains, that's probably because of the reason for them to change out the roof. They have some dark stains, roof was leaking, and they fixed
And that's
it.
from the previous roof that was bad.
Exactly.
Got it.
Bunch of windows inside these doors. So a couple things. You can look through the glass, and if you see that it's fogged, it could be a dual pane window. Or if you see moisture in there, what you could do is if you see moisture, just take your hand inside or outside, kind of go over it, see if the moisture moves. If the moisture doesn't move, that means it's going to be inside the dual pane window. And what a dual pane window is it's two pieces of glass stuck together filled with a gas. Now, when that gas vacates that that cavity, that void starts to fill with normal condensation and air, and then you'll start seeing some discoloration, and that's how you know that that seal is bad.
That's a good point, because I brought this up to clients, and once I tell them, they just assume that the window was wet on the other side. So they think, oh, I'll just wipe it down, then I'll get clarity again. But no, it's actually stuck there.
It's stuck there. It's in between the two pieces of glass, and sometimes that's replace only. It's not repair.
Shall we go to the kitchen?
Yeah, let's go take a look.
Maybe Tyler cooked something before we got here. Who knows? It's like, hey, surprise, pizza. No, there's absolutely nothing here.
That's not true. We have a kitchen that actually has all the GFIs already here. These outlets over here, you see that little green light? So these are the test and the reset buttons. What happens is when you get a shock from that particular plug, it trips the GFI, which are those buttons, within 1/100th of a second.
So if that wasn't there, I wet my hands and I put my finger in there. For some odd reason, I feel compelled to do so. If that wasn't there, what do you think would happen to
I don't think your finger would be in really good condition, and hopefully you're still with us.
And then the alternative with this being there.
Turns off the power like that, and maybe you're just like, ouch.
Tyler, you want to test it? Underneath the sink, what are some triggers or signs that there might be mold?
If you open it up and you have like a musty smell, that's a sign that there may be mold. If you have water damage, there may be mold. You're looking for grayish colored stuff, black, green colored, or orangish red colored stuff, and that could be a mold. So mold exists everywhere. The minute you walk outside, there's mold. We use it in food and medicine, but it's just when the level inside the house is greater than outside the house, that's typically where we start to have problems.
How do you test for mold?
So you have a couple different things. You can, if we had like mold right here, we could get a swab sample. It looks like a giant Q-tip, the ones that you used to stick up your nose for COVID.
COVID? Okay,
Yeah.
I understand
So,
now.
Everybody's gonna get that one, right? So you could just go directly over it, and then it's gonna pick up the substance on there. You send it off to a lab. It'll tell you the genus. Another popular one is air sampling. That's going to pick up whatever's in the house. We get one here in the kitchen area, one in the living room, one in the master bedroom, and one outside. And then we're gonna compare the ones outside, which is your baseline sample, to the ones indoors.
There's a balcony here, which triggers an opportunity to speak about balconies. I've also made it a point, because you've taught me, and we've ran into this issue several times. Anytime I do a walkthrough with a client, I'm now always walking like this.
Trying to find a soft spot.
Yes.
There we go. So we have the drains here. A lot of times around the drains, it's a common area to find a soft spot, or sometimes you'll have like a flower pot or flower pots, and that could be another area to find a soft spot. Sometimes moving those over, you'll find like a little crack in the membrane, and then the water's getting in there. And like you were doing, you just kind of walk on your tippy toe or your heel, and you may feel a soft spot. Maybe you need to get a balcony inspection done or a termite inspection to see if there's any rotted wood, something like that.
So these are things that sometimes, if we have those little tips, we don't have to wait for the home inspector to point things
not at
out.
all.
You could go, obviously 100% we want you there, but there's still things that we can do to kind of vet a house out a little bit.
Exactly. And the good thing is that when you know a couple little things like that, you don't walk into the house blind. You're not looking at just the staging and how pretty or how nice the house is.
I feel like that should be the value of a real estate agent. I mean, we deal with so many transactions. I see you all the time.
Yeah.
Like you've naturally taught me through every transaction. I think it's almost a disfavor to a client that I don't look at these things during my initial walkthrough.
And
So
I think an agent like you, somebody who's seasoned and who's been doing it for a while now, you're always learning more, and you're always trying to bring a better value to your clients to make sure that they know what they're getting before they even enter into escrow.
thanks to you.
Oh,
Everything
well.
I know about houses, you've taught me, Frank.
And by the way, my name is Daniel Rangel, real estate agent on the west side of Los Angeles. If I can be of any help, it would be an honor. And for a free consultation on buying or selling, you can find my information in the description below. And don't forget to hit like or subscribe. And also to reach out to Frank, you can also find his information in the description below. But either way, thanks a bunch for watching and have an awesome day.